and so on. Various opinions abounded. While the internet was abuzz, Yuanzhou arrived at the Jiang family as scheduled. With him came Yunyan. Yuanzhou initially wanted to come alone, but early in the morning, Yunyan called and told him that while it was a matter concerning the Yu family, it was ultimately her matter, so she could not show up. When she made that call, Jiang Yunyan had just left. He had stayed overnight at her place, and the next morning, old Lu arrived downstairs in the community at the agreed time. In the winter, at around 6 o'clock, the sky hadn't yet brightened. She was still asleep, vaguely feeling movement on the other side of the bed. Jiang Yunyan's actions, getting up, dressing, washing, were all very light, so light that Yunyan felt like she was dreaming, until the bedroom door gently closed. It was just a soft sound, but Yunyan unexpectedly woke up completely. She walked to the window, pulled back a corner of the curtain, and looked downstairs. The community was very quiet. The sky hadn't brightened yet, and it was a weekend, so no one was up so early. It was cold outside, and there was a faint mist on the window pane. After a while, Yunyan saw Jiang Yunyan's figure hidden in the dim light of the sky. Cars weren't strictly prohibited in the community, but despite being an old community, the security guards were quite responsible. Outside vehicles couldn't enter without a major reason. Old Lu's car came in and parked under a nearby tree. There wasn't much vehicle traffic in the community now, so it was easy to park. The fact that old Lu's car could enter the community was Jiang Yunyan's credit. The community security guards were the kind of people who would stand their ground if you challenged them, and think having a good car makes you special. So when Jiang Yunyan's car was first stopped by the security guard, Yunyan's heart tightened, fearing that Jiang Yunyan would bully them again. Just as she was about to lean out and greet the security guard, Jiang Yunyan personally got out of the car. Yunyan was terribly nervous, but then Jiang Yunyan pulled a pack of cigarettes from his pocket and offered one to the security guard. It wasn't clear what they talked about, but it didn't take too long. The security guard was sent off happily. Before getting in the car, Jiang Yunyan handed the entire pack of cigarettes to the security guard, and so the car proceeded unhindered. Jiang Yunyan got into the car, and the car drove out of the community like a deep-sea fish, silently, seemingly not disturbing even a bird. Yunyan stood by the window for a long time, not knowing what she was looking at, until she was about to put down the curtain when she noticed a faint light in the sky, like the god of chaos slowly opening his eyes. She had also lost her sleepiness. She found it strange. Logically, she should have been able to sleep in, as Jiang Yunyan had been quite restless last night, and she still felt tired all over. Unable to sleep, Yunyan didn't force herself. She left the bedroom, and was surprised when she entered the kitchen. The insulated food cover on the counter was open. She lifted it and saw several plates with breakfast. The steamed buns and douhua, tofu pudding, were probably from the breakfast shop downstairs, while the boiled eggs and milk were from home. Yunyan looked at the breakfast for a long time, then decided to eat some. She was afraid it would get completely cold and be troublesome to reheat. When Yuanzhou and Yunyan came to the Jiang family, everyone was present except for the collateral relatives and Jiang family's second son's family. Of course, this matter wasn't big enough to involve the entire Jiang family. Jiang Xian was surprisingly there. This woman, who had always been working abroad, Jiang Yunyan's elder sister, had unexpectedly returned. More importantly, Jiang Yunyan was also present at the old residence. When the two of them entered, Jiang Yunyan was reading a financial magazine, sitting upright on the sofa. Seeing them arrive, he didn't show any extra reaction, merely raising his eyelids slightly to glance at them, his gaze subtly sliding over Yunyan's face, then returning to the magazine, as if he were silently hidden in the air. Jiang Xian, however, was overjoyed to see Yunyan. She got up, came over, and hugged her tightly. "Oh, Yunyan, it's been so long." Then she gently pulled her back, scrutinizing her with eyes full of admiration, but getting more and more beautiful. Yunyan hadn't met Jiang Xian in several years either. Jiang Xian looked more mature and capable, her eyes still sparkling, showing that she was happy doing what she loved. Although Tang Hui's blood pressure nearly surged from Jizi's provocation, she still got up when she heard the Yu family had arrived, and the family of three appeared together. Jiang Zhe had lost a lot of weight, making his handsome face look more chiseled. He looked at Yunyan several times, wanting to speak but hesitating, his eyes incredibly melancholic. The most relaxed person here, and the most like an outsider, was Jiang Yunyan, who continued to leisurely flip through his magazine. Yunyan's heart skipped a beat when she saw him at the Jiang family today. She hadn't expected him to return to the Jiang family today, and he hadn't mentioned it last night. Yunyan subtly glanced at Jiang Yunyan's back. At this moment, he appeared reserved and noble, seemingly without desires, but Yunyan couldn't help but recall him in bed last night. Passionate and domineering. Her heart fluttered, and she quickly steadied her emotions. Grandma Jiang had been waiting in the main hall early, clearly genuinely fond of Yunyan. When she arrived, Grandma Jiang took her hand, doting on her, seemingly unable to get enough of her. Today is a big day for both our families, so I've asked everyone to come. My second daughter-in-law is ill, and I didn't want to risk her passing on her illness to you, so I didn't let them come, Grandma Jiang said. Yunyan hadn't expected it to be so grand. She had thought it would just be a final resolution at the Jiang family's home. After the family was seated, Jiang Xian pulled Yunyan to sit beside her. It wasn't that she was unconcerned and gloomy, but Jiang Xian had an open mind and always believed in letting things happen naturally, so whether Yunyan married into the Jiang family or not wouldn't affect their friendship. She was quite bold, even asking Yuanzhou if he had a girlfriend after sitting down. This caught Yuanzhou off guard, and he said no. Jiang Xian smiled. No? Perfect. I have many single girlfriends. Grandma Jiang gently scolded her for being mischievous, asking why she was causing trouble at a time like this. Jiang Xian still argued. How is this causing trouble? This is called integrating advantageous resources. Azhou's current appearance is so good. He's tall, handsome, and ambitious. Where can you find such a man? Yuanzhou said calmly. Sister XNXN? You're joking. According to seniority, Yuanzhou would never call Jiang Xian's sister, but Jiang Xian was only a few years older than Jiang Yunyan and unmarried, so she explicitly forbade Yunyan and Yuanzhou from treating her as an elder, insisting they call her sister. Jiang Yin Tai didn't have the patience for this and said to Jiang Xian, we're talking serious business. How old are you, still so frivolous? Jiang Xian glared at Jiang Yin Tai. What else is there to talk about? Arzay was in the wrong first by letting Yin Yin down. Now that he even has a child, why is he still dragging Yin Yin along? The Yu family doesn't owe our Jiang family anything. I say, let's part ways amicably. That way our family's friendship will remain, no need to make a scene, and become enemies for life. Jiang Yin Tai's expression was not good. Jiang Zhe stammered. Yin Yin, I really don't know why this happened. I have no feelings for her at all. Yun Yin came here wanting to resolve things quickly, and Jiang Yin Yin was also present, which made her very uncomfortable. Her mindset coming to the Jiang family this time was different, especially when facing Jiang Yin Yin. She always felt that although Jiang Zhe had done something despicable, she wasn't much better herself. Jiang Zhe was very passive in this matter. Although he had done such a thing, he was not entirely without shame. Seeing Yun Yin say that, he understood perfectly that a future between him and Yun Yin was completely impossible. Subconsciously, he glanced at Jiang Yin Yin. Although Jiang Yin Yin seemed nonchalant and had been looking at his phone, not participating in the table's conversation, Jiang Zhe always had a feeling that he and Yun Yin might not be as calm as they appeared. How could their simultaneous appearance in Nanzhou be a coincidence? Jiang Zhe had an urge to question him, but reason returned. Why did he have a question now? And in front of his grandmother, no less. Yuanzhou spoke. He didn't waste much time talking to Jiang Zhe's family, addressing old Mrs. Jiang directly. Given the current situation, it's truly inappropriate for our two families to proceed with a marriage alliance. GZ's incident has caused too much uproar. Even if her reputation collapses further, she's still a person with a significant following and social influence. If things truly get out of hand, it won't be good for anyone. In other words, the Jiang family is like someone wearing shoes, while she's barefoot. Grandma Jiang, do you think at this point she might burn her bridges? Old Mrs. Jiang was full of worry, remaining silent. Yuanzhou turned to look at Tang Hui. Aunt Tang, you didn't gain anything yesterday, did you? The other party must have been prepared. Tang Hui's face was indescribably grim. Grandma Jiang, Yun Yin said, gently taking old Mrs. Jiang's hand. Old Mrs. Jiang genuinely liked and doted on Yun Yin, so she immediately clutched her hand back, looking at her with expectant eyes. Yun Yin felt a pang in her heart. Although she had no lingering attachment to this marriage alliance, she remembered old Mrs. Jiang's kindness. She said, don't worry, I'll come to visit you often in the future. Old Mrs. Jiang's eyes reddened, but this time, she couldn't say anything to hold her back or delay. Solving GZ's matter was the Jiang family's responsibility. They couldn't drag the Yu family down with them again. The old lady was on the verge of tears. It was Tang Hui who, unexpectedly, pleaded with Yun Yin. Yin Yin, I know Jiang Zhe let you down in this matter, but don't you see, the Jiang family and the Yu family have had so many years of friendship. For our relationship to just end like this is too. And Tang. Yuanzhou calmly interrupted Tang Hui's appeal to emotion and reason. Our friendship hasn't broken. Although the Yu family situation isn't great right now, I believe it will get better. I'm still thinking of opportunities to cooperate with the Jiang family. He then turned to old Mrs. Jiang. You agree, don't you? What could be more stable than a business partnership? Yes, of course. Our two families must cooperate, definitely. Our relationship can't break. She held Yun Yin's hand tightly. If you can't be my granddaughter-in-law, then be my granddaughter. Yin Yin, you mustn't forget Grandma. How could I forget? As soon as Yunyan heard old Mrs. Jiang say that, the weight in her heart finally lifted. This was an agreement. Jiang Zhe also understood the implication. Although he knew what was done, seeing the relationship end like this naturally left him a bit unwilling. He hastily called out, "Grandma, don't call me." Old Mrs. Jiang's face turned cold, and she snapped. Jiang Zhe's silence was better, but his words completely ignited old Mrs. Jiang's anger. Her finger trembled as she pointed at him. "Ew, you ruined a perfectly good daughter-in-law. If you had even a speck of Nian in your heart, you wouldn't have done this." Jiang Zhe dared not speak. Yunyan quickly comforted old Mrs. Jiang, urging her to calm down. They had come today to settle things. It would be troublesome if the old lady got seriously ill from anger. Fortunately, old Mrs. Jiang listened to her advice, suppressing her emotions again and again until she finally calmed down. When she spoke again, it was to her two sons present. "You two, this is my absolute command. You must follow it." Jiang Niantai looked at old Mrs. Jiang. "Please tell us." Jiang Nianyan, who had been like an outsider the whole time, also put down his phone, his gaze quickly sweeping over Yunyan's face before settling on the old lady. "Although the Jiang family and the Yu family no longer have a marriage alliance, I still like this girl. So from today on, this girl is my recognized god-granddaughter. I will announce this publicly." A momentary darkening flickered in Jiang Nianyan's eyes, but it quickly returned to normal. Yunyan was startled. "Grandma Jiang, listen to me first." Old Mrs. Jiang was quite forceful, still holding her hand. "So, both of you must fully support the Yu family. Any suitable projects you have for cooperation should also prioritize the Yu family." Jiang Niantai's face showed difficulty. "Mom, I understand how you feel, but our current projects involve partners of many years. It wouldn't be good to replace them abruptly. I don't want to hear your explanations. Even if it's difficult, you must do as I say." Old Mrs. Jiang interrupted Jiang Niantai. Yuan Zhou, hearing this, quickly spoke. "Grandma Jiang, given Fang Yuan's current situation, it indeed cannot undertake projects from the Jiang family. We appreciate your good intentions. We are steadily growing Fang Yuan's capacity, as you know. While being complacent in business is not advisable, blindly rushing forward is also to be avoided. Let's take it one step at a time." Old Mrs. Jiang looked at Yuan Zhou, sighing. "Ah Zhou, your tone makes it sound like you're eager to completely cut ties with the Jiang family. That won't do. Besides, when you run a company or enterprise, you need to leverage favorable conditions when necessary. With favorable conditions, you can achieve twice the result with half the effort. You can't possibly not understand this principle." After all, Yuan Zhou was now involved in the business world, and his words and actions were much more sophisticated and thoughtful than before. He smiled, gently comforting old Mrs. Jiang. Yes, everything you say is right. I won't pretend to be aloof. Of course, if there are favorable conditions, I will leverage them, and I will definitely strive for them within Fang Yuan's capabilities." Old Mrs. Jiang raised a finger and pointed at Yuan Zhou. You've really learned bad habits in the big dive out of the business world, learning to use a small force to move a heavy object. The old lady was shrewd. How could she not understand the meaning behind Yuan Zhou's words? Within Fang Yuan's capabilities, how is that different from what he just said? Given Fang Yuan's current situation, it cannot undertake projects from the Jiang family. It was just a different way of saying it. This boy knew how to be subtle. Old Mrs. Jiang sighed. "I just feel too indebted to the Yu family, and I can't bear to let go of this relationship." Just as Yuan Zhou was about to speak, Jiang Nianyan, who had been silent, spoke up. "Mom, Yuan Zhou is right. The projects Fang Yuan currently operates have no overlap with the Jiang family. Rashly assigning projects to Fang Yuan might be counterproductive. Besides, I imagine the Yu family wouldn't appreciate this form of compensation either." Yunyan slightly lowered her eyelashes. Now, whenever Jiang Nianyan spoke, her heart would jump. Although she didn't look at him, her whole body tensed, fearing he might say something unexpected. Jiang Nianyan's temperament was too difficult to fathom now. Yuan Zhou was also cautious when facing Jiang Nianyan, remaining silent. Old Mrs. Jiang turned to look at Jiang Nianyan. "Why are you just like your elder brother?" Jiang Nianyan smiled. "Mom, don't rush. Yunyan hasn't had a chance to tell you yet. She's going to start working at Zhongshi on Monday." "What?" For people exclaimed in unison. Jiang Niantai's family of three, and Yuan Zhou. After Yunyan's head recovered, it started to buzz. All eyes were now on her. Old Mrs. Jiang was also momentarily stunned, but quickly reacted. Compared to the others' expressions, the old lady looked quite pleased. "Starting work at Zhongshi on Monday? You girl, you're going to work for Yunyan?" Yuan Zhou frowned deeply. Yunyan was extremely uncomfortable. She gasped, not knowing what else to say. "Yunyan only learned about Zhongshi's situation after meeting me," Jiang Nianyan explained, unexpectedly. Then he lightly stated the reason. It was largely the same as the reason he had mentioned before, that she wanted to quickly accumulate experience, learn from a large company to make up for Fang Yuan's shortcomings, and so she had submitted her resume to Zhongshi. Jiang Zei's reaction was quite strong, as if something that belonged to him had been snatched away. Uncle, I don't think Nian is going for an ordinary employee position, right? To gain experience, one needs to work on projects, and the selection process for people who can work on projects is very strict. Didn't you have to review her profile in the end? Yes, Jiang Nian said calmly. Then why let Nian work at Zhongshi? Jiang Zei was somewhat losing control. Jiang Nian asked faintly in return, why refuse? Just because she's Yunyan? Jiang Zei's eyes widened, wanting to say something, but momentarily speechless. First, she applied through normal channels. HR received her resume, found it very suitable, and notified her for an interview. Was there anything wrong with the process? Jiang Yinyan's tone was serious. Second, she performed excellently in multiple rounds of interviews. What reason does Zhongshi have not to hire her? Jiang Zei looked at Yunyan. But she doesn't have much experience. How could Zhongshi recruit inexperienced people? Yunyan looked up at Jiang Zei. At that moment, she saw disbelief in his eyes, and she suddenly realized that in Jiang Zei's heart, she was no different from other wealthy young ladies. Even graduating from an internationally renowned business school was just a bit of gilding to make her name sound better. So, the business dream she had mentioned to him before had never been taken seriously. Jiang Yinyan remained unhurried. She doesn't have experience, so she'll start as my special assistant. This one sentence shocked the four people even more. Special assistant. This time it was Yuanzhou who spoke. But compared to Jiang Zei's agitation, Yuanzhou was someone who could control his emotions. He said, I think young Master Yin knows too little. Yunyan is not suited for this kind of work. She's used to being waited on. I don't think she can handle the position of special assistant at Zhongshi Group. Although the words were a question, Yuanzhou's demeanor was completely different from Jiang Zei's. He believed Yunyan could handle it and would do very well, and he believed Yunyan would establish herself at Zhongshi with her abilities. But Yuanzhou didn't want it. He couldn't let Yunyan join Zhongshi, especially not as Jiang Yinyan's special assistant. Yunyan remained silent. Jiang Yinyan, however, was unfazed. There's nothing she can't handle. I'll teach her how to do it. Jiang Zei finally found an outlet for his frustration. Uncle, isn't this inappropriate? Even if our two families no longer have a marriage alliance, the outside world knows about her past relationship with me. Aren't you giving people cause for criticism by doing this, Uncle? Who am I cleaning up the mess for? Jiang Yinyan's tone suddenly turned serious. So serious that even Yunyan felt a chill down her spine. Jiang Zei flinched. This is the last point I want to make. Jiang Yinyan frowned slightly. When Yunyan needed you the most, what were you doing? Don't you have any idea? Now, with GZ's matter, you're clearly in the wrong. It was you who let down Yunyan and the Yu family, and ultimately, it falls on the Jiang family owing the Yu family this debt of gratitude. If she can come to Zhongshi, let alone meeting all the conditions, even if she's far from Zhongshi's talent selection criteria, I would still hire her. If she has no experience, I'll teach her. If she can't learn quickly, she can learn slowly. Jiang Zei, I'm doing this to save your face. Yunyan secretly glanced at Jiang Yinyan, her heart unconsciously thumping. Although she knew everything he said was an excuse, the firstly, secondly, and lastly, especially the lastly, if he truly considered Jiang Zei, why would he insist on keeping her by his side? He was truly sanctimonious. But for a moment, she was indeed captivated by his sanctimonious demeanor. Jiang Zei was, as expected, rendered speechless by his words. Yunyan felt that with Jiang Yinyan's rhetoric, no one could find fault. His words were truly watertight. Finally, he used the repayment of a favor to silence everyone. Even Yuanzhou couldn't say anything. He was absolutely against it, but Jiang Yinyan's words were so reasonable and appropriate that if he refused on the spot, it would appear as if he desperately wanted to sever ties with the Jiang family. The most excited was old Mrs. Jiang, who nodded repeatedly. This is good, Yinyan, you handled this matter wonderfully. When she looked at Jiang Zei again, her eyes were not her eyes, and her nose not her nose. She glared at him. Look at you caused such a big mess. And in the proteins, didn't your uncle have to bail you out? Grandma, third brother handled this matter very discreetly. Jiang Niantai interrupted Jiang Zei, his intention obvious, to prevent him from continuing and to shift the topic to Jiang Yinyan. Jiang Yinyan calmly stated, I was indeed unaware of the HR's initial rounds of interviews. In other words, even if it was discreet, it was just the recruitment process. Old Mrs. Jiang didn't want to hear these irrelevant remarks anymore. She patted Yunyan's hand and said, That's wonderful, you girl. See, isn't this fate? After all the twists and turns, you still end up in the Jiang family's domain. It's a good thing to be able to join Zhongshi. With Yinyan guiding you, Grandma believes you'll definitely be fine. Yunyan didn't offer any further explanations here, softly saying, Yes, It's my honor to join Zhongshe. I'll have to trouble young master Yin to teach me everything in the future. Before Jiang Yin could speak, old Mrs. Jiang chuckled. That title, young master Yin, is what outsiders call him. Your family, no need to use it. Just call him little uncle like Jiang Zhe does. Yun Yin's heart stumbled, and she subconsciously glanced at Jiang Yin. Jiang Yin pressed his lips together in silence, the emotions in his eyes unreadable. Jiang Xan spoke from the side, clapping her hands. This is great now. Isn't everyone happy? Mom, look, you've suddenly gained another granddaughter. Yes, old Mrs. Jiang said happily. That's also why I especially wanted this you girl to marry in. Yun Yin smiled, a little strained. Jiang Xin made a request. However, you two can call each other whatever you want, but I won't be your little aunt. When you see me, you still have to call me Sister Xa. Yu Zhuanzhou's face was grim all the way home when he drove Yun Yin. Xiao Min, after working overtime for half a day and hearing about their visit to the Jiang family that morning, didn't rest either and rushed to Yun Yin's house while driving. Only after entering the house did Yu Wanzhou speak. Aren't you going to explain something to me? Yun Yin washed her hands and came out with a helpless expression. I wanted to tell you about it in the car, but what about you? Your face was so long. How could I possibly say anything? Yu Wanzhou, looking displeased, sat on the sofa. Fine, you talk, I'll listen. Just as Yun Yin was about to speak, there was a knock at the door. Xiaomin arrived quite quickly and bustled in, asking, how did it go? Did the Jiang family matriarch relent? If the Jiang family still doesn't agree, I'll find some big influencers to stir up public opinion and pressure them. She relented, so don't make a fuss, Yun Yin quickly said. Xiaomin was still quite excited. So you finally completely distanced yourself from Jiang Zhe? We should definitely celebrate. With GZ's matter creating such a stir, it's most important that you get out unscathed. Yun Yin thought for a moment, not entirely distanced. Old Madame Jiang is a person of strong character and might feel she owes me, so she recognized me as her granddaughter. Xiaomin raised an eyebrow. You're not at a disadvantage. This is such a good thing. Yu Wanzhou, sitting on the sofa, let out a cold snort. Xiaomin looked, wondering what that meant. Are you upset old Madame Jiang didn't recognize you? Xiaomin laughed. A brother benefits from his sister's prestige. What's wrong with that? In the past, Yu Wanzhou would have joked along, especially with Xiaomin, and wouldn't have pretended to be so serious. But this time, he didn't respond, just maintained a very grim expression. Seeing this stance, Xiaomin thought, something's not right. What exactly happened? Tell me quickly. After Yu Wanzhou and Yun Yin left the Jiang family, old Madame Jiang could no longer suppress her anger. She thoroughly reprimanded Jiang Nianhai's family, especially Jiang Zhe. Just looking at him made the old lady's teeth itch with fury. Pointing at him, her finger trembling, she said, it's a good thing family rules are gone. If they were still in place, I would beat you, this unworthy descendant, to death. Tang Hui, after all, doted on her son and pleaded with the old lady. You haven't seen that GZ. She's young but very cunning. When she came to see me, she had listening devices on. Old madam, our A's is simple-minded. Among all the children he grew up with, who has so many tricks up their sleeve? GZ is very manipulative. Our A's was just temporarily blinded. Temporarily blinded? Old Madame Jiang's anger flared even more upon hearing this. He's the eldest grandson of the Jiang family. How old is he? And he still doesn't know how to judge people or handle affairs. Do you want to live under your father's wing your whole life? Branch members of the Jiang family your age are already making great strides at headquarters. Don't you know what they want? With your current state, not only has the marriage alliance with the Yu family fallen apart, but you've also gotten a child outside. How can you expect the board members to trust you? How can they believe you can take on important responsibilities at headquarters? Jiang Zhe, with his head down, said, Grandma, I won't marry GZ. At worst, I'll just bring the child back to the Jiang family to raise after it's born. Nonsense. Old Madame Jiang slammed the table in fury. Is it now up to you to decide not to marry her? She has leverage over you. You think it's that simple, waiting for the child to be born and brought back to the Jiang family? Do you think a woman full of schemes like that won't use the child to her advantage? She dares to offend the Jiang family. Do you think she's acting with impunity, or is it a last resort? Regardless, she's gone all out. Jiang Zhe pursed his lips tightly, his face looking incredibly grim. Tang Hui understood old Madame Jiang's implication and asked in shock, Mom, you're not going to let that GZ into the family, are you? Otherwise, what? What other solutions do you have? I can think of all the methods you can use, but what's the result? The other party is unyielding, right? Old Madame Jiang said displeased. We can't take a life, can we? That would be utterly immoral, and our Jiang family wouldn't do such a thing. Tang Hui quickly said, Mom, I've never thought that way. Even if we don't care about the adult, the one in her belly is very likely a Jiang family bloodline. Old Madame Jiang suppressed her anger. After a long while, she looked at Jiang Yanhai, who had been silent. Eldest son, Mom, please speak. You need to resolve your family's matter as soon as possible. We can't let public opinion run wild any longer. Although I don't go to headquarters, I'm well aware that the board has already started to make things difficult, haven't they? Old Madame Jiang's expression was grave. Jiang Yanhai didn't hide anything. Yes, the board making things difficult has only one reason: fluctuating stock prices. Otherwise, why would those people meddle in others' family affairs? You know the consequences. If the stock price can't be stabilized, your position might not last long, Old Madame Jiang said coldly. Jiang Yanhai composed himself. Yes, Mom. Please rest assured, this matter will be resolved as soon as possible. GZ, completely barefaced and fully disguised, went to a cafe tucked deep within an alleyway. It was a very private and niche establishment that never advertised, relying solely on acquaintances and word of mouth for customers. It was a small courtyard filled with birdsong and floral fragrance, with an insulated glass ceiling. Even if it was snowing heavily or raining cats and dogs outside, guests could comfortably sit in the courtyard, leisurely sipping coffee and chatting. The entire courtyard employed a constant temperature system, making it comfortable whether in winter's cold or summer's heat. The proprietress of this cafe was Mora's classmate. They had a good relationship during their student days. The proprietress had been in the art trade overseas, and, after achieving financial freedom, returned to China to open this cafe purely for the enjoyment of life. Therefore, whether the cafe made a profit or not was unimportant to her. But things in the world often turn out this way. Though you plant with great care, the flowers may not bloom. Without intention, a willow branch may grow into shade. This cafe was like that. Open from morning until late at night, it had a continuous stream of customers. Today, the cafe was closed for business, with a large sign hanging on its vermilion lacquered gate. Customers who originally intended to come for coffee left with disappointed expressions after seeing the sign. Behind the vermilion lacquered gate, within the quiet, flower-fragrant courtyard, the warm aroma of coffee diffused. After serving the coffee, the proprietress returned to the back hall to prepare the holiday menu. Besides GZ, Mora was also in the small courtyard. GZ didn't drink coffee. She ordered a glass of vegetable juice, which was nutritious and didn't worry about excessive sugar intake. Mora ordered an Americano. It was very rich and aromatic. I see Mrs. Zhang's attitude is very firm, and I'm very worried. After meeting Mora, GZ's demeanor was completely different from when she met Tang Hui. Gone was her air of certainty and ease. Her face was full of worry, and her eyes showed fatigue. Mora took a sip of coffee, put down her cup. Worry they'll deal with you? Yes. GZ was uneasy. After all, it's the Jiang family, rich and powerful. If they really want to deal with me, wouldn't it be as simple as squashing an ant? Since openly challenging the Jiang family, GZ's life hadn't been easy. On one hand, she had to acknowledge the immense pressure from online public opinion, and on the other, she constantly worried that the Jiang family might harm her. She couldn't sleep or eat well, and she had also entered the morning sickness stage, enduring daily physical and psychological torment. Every time she closed her eyes, she would have nightmares. In her dreams, Jiang Zhe would question her. Didn't you say you took the pills? How dare you lie to me? Then she would be chased by men in black. She knew they were from the Jiang family. She ran and ran desperately. When a man in black was about to stab her, she screamed hoarsely, "This is Jiang family blood. How dare you harm a Jiang family member?" The man in black would sneer. "You think you can marry into the Jiang family? Go to hell." And then a knife would plunge down. Every time GZ woke up from a nightmare, she would feel waves of nausea, making her terribly uncomfortable. What's there to be afraid of? They wouldn't dare do anything to you. Mora lightly reassured her. The Jiang family is a prominent and reputable household. They care about their image. Who outside doesn't know about this matter now? And the Jiang family stock price has fluctuated greatly because of it. At this time, the Jiang family wants you to be safe more than anyone else, because once something happens to you, all external blame will point to the Jiang family. This is an information society. Sometimes, when public opinion is stirred up too much, the truth itself becomes irrelevant. People only want to believe what they want to believe. After hearing this, GZ was still uneasy. What if the Jiang family truly doesn't care? Or if they manage to pull off a deception? Such as, Mora feigned confusion. It's easy for them to make me disappear without a trace, and it's also easy to fake my life trajectory, GZ said pointedly, revealing her greatest fear. Eliminating her and faking her continued existence in this world wouldn't be difficult. At the very least, it could be concealed for a year or two. And let alone a year, even after a month, netizens would no longer pay attention to the matter. Information can be falsified, Even videos can be faked, so what power did she have to negotiate with the Jiang family? Morris smiled. Miss G, you are indeed an award-winning actress. You can even come up with plots like this. Are you losing the distinction between reality and drama? GZ was stunned. Do you think the cost for the Jiang family to allow you to marry in is greater, or the cost of eliminating you and then maintaining traces of your activities? GZ thought about it but couldn't answer. The Jiang family is powerful and influential. The more prominent a family is, the more cautiously they act. Do you think they would completely ruin the Jiang family just to kill you? Wouldn't generations of effort by the Jiang family be in vain then? Mora analyzed for her. On the contrary, agreeing to let you marry merely involves some loss of interests, and an ill-matched marriage would at most draw criticism. But all these losses are temporary. With the Jiang family's capabilities, restoring business relationships is simple. As for face, which the Jiang family values most, the worst outcome is that Jiang Zhe divorces you after you had the child. So, if you were a Jiang family member, what would you do? GZ was thoughtful. Miss G, wealth and honor have always been sought in danger. How can you want glory and riches, yet be timid and hesitant? Where in this world is there such a good thing? To put another way, you are seeking benefits for yourself, and you are the only one at the gambling table. When I first approached you, I asked if you had the courage, and back then you were full of pledges. Now there's no turning back. You can only brace yourself and move forward. If you succeed, you're the winner. It doesn't matter if you stay in the Jiang family for a lifetime or a year. What's important is that the Jiang family acknowledges this child. GZ asked, will the Jiang family really compromise? Morris smiled. Perhaps Jiang Zhe doesn't think that far ahead, but his father, Jiang Yanhai, is a man who understands how to weigh pros and cons problems I can think of. He certainly can too, so you can rest assured. She paused. And I'm behind this matter too. Could I just watch you fall into danger? The people guiding the narrative now are ours. Even if many online are criticizing you, we are controlling the main direction. This time, you caught the Jiang family off guard, so they didn't even have time to launch their public relations. By the time they reacted, they had already lost the best opportunity. After her explanation, a great weight was lifted from GZ's mind. She said, if I can truly marry into the Jiang family, I will never forget your kindness. Morris smiled. It's not your repayment I want. Then why exactly are you helping me? GZ was utterly puzzled. Logically, she wasn't important enough to be connected to Mora's family. Why would Mora help her? It's simple, Mora said softly. I don't want Yunyan to marry into the Jiang family. GZ was stunned for a long moment, then subconsciously asked why. You don't need to know the reason, Mora said indifferently. GZ smartly chose not to ask further. For some things not meant for her to know, she preferred to remain ignorant, protecting herself. After a long while, she said, actually, Jiang Zhe's heart isn't with me. He likes Yunyan. Mora scoffed. GZ looked up at her, wondering why she was laughing like that. Miss G, you're an award-winning actress. You shouldn't need anyone to teach you scenes of deep affection, should you? Mora's words were sharp. Since you can marry into the Jiang family as you wish, keeping a man's heart shouldn't be difficult for you, right? GZ's mouth twitched slightly. You and Jiang Zhe have been secretly involved more than once or twice. You say he has Yunyan in his heart? Huh, he only cares about himself. If he had even a shred of Yunyan in his heart, he wouldn't have repeatedly sought pleasure with you, Mora said with disdain in her eyes. GZ's face became unnatural at her words. In short, I can only help you get into the Jiang family. As for what happens next, you'll have to rely on yourself. Jiang Yunyan didn't linger at the old mansion for too long. He intended to leave when the old lady was scolding Jiang Yanhai's family. Unexpectedly, Jiang Xian also came out with him. Jiang Yunyan glanced at her, but said nothing. Hey, give me a ride, Jiang Xian said bluntly. As she spoke, old Lu had already driven the car over. Jiang Yunyan said indifferently, no time. Asked the old mansion for a driver. With that, he opened the car door and got in. He didn't expect that the second he closed the door, it would open again. Jiang Xian, holding onto the car door, stared down at him. Move over. I said I don't. Jiang Xian forced her way in, her body almost pressing against Jiang Yunyan. Having no choice, Jiang Yunyan could only scoot further in. The Jiang family has plenty of idle drivers. Why don't you ask them and come bother me instead? Jiang Yunyan frowned deeply. Jiang Xian tilted her head, squinting slightly. Jiang Yunyan, are you getting bold? How dare you speak to your sister like that? Jiang Yunyan fell silent, looking very displeased. Old Lu glanced at the rearview mirror, wanting to laugh but holding it in. Jiang Xian's attention then shifted to Old Lu. Long time no see, Old Lu. Old Lu quickly greeted. Miss, indeed, it's been a long time since I last saw you. You're looking more beautiful than ever. Jiang Yunyan was speechless. Where do you want to go? Hurry up and say. Are you rushing to reincarnate? What's the hurry? Jiang Xian yelled at him. then turned her head and smiled at old Lu. I'll have to trouble you to take me out of the city. Out of the city? Where are you going? Jiang Yinyan frowned and asked. Jiang Xian glanced at him. Do you care where I go? Do I need to report my itinerary to you? Jiang Yinyan was speechless. Jiang Xian looked at old Lu and her gentle demeanor returned. It's really troublesome for you. No trouble at all. Just tell me where, and I'll take you there, old Lu quickly said. Jiang Yinyan stared at old Lu. Old Lu knew he was being stared at, but what could he do? Jiang Xian saw Jiang Yinyan's displeasure and leaned back in her chair with a smile. If you're in a hurry, you can use the old residence's driver. This is my car, Jiang Yinyan kindly reminded him. Otherwise, Jiang Xian retorted, I didn't say it was someone else's car. I only got in because your car is comfortable. Jiang Yinyan felt stifled. Any other questions? Jiang Xian asked. None. Jiang Yinyan was annoyed, but facing Jiang Xian's assertiveness, he finally bowed his head and said to old Lu, drive. Old Lu complied, without any surprise. He was clearly used to Jiang Yinyan and Jiang Xian's way of getting along. Who was most worried when Jiang Yinyan returned to the Jiang family? Besides the collateral branches of the Jiang family, it was Jiang Yantai and Jiang Yanqi. The youngest son of the Jiang family returned, and the old man, already feeling guilty about his childhood experiences, clearly showed his affection and favoritism. Not only did he invite renowned business school lecturers to give him various special lessons, but he also allowed him to get involved in the business world, giving him opportunities to gain experience and practice. It was truly a combination of theory and practice. Old Lu understood Jiang Yinyan. He had experienced the dark side of human nature outside, seeing mostly evil. He didn't easily trust people and was ruthless in overseas territorial disputes. Therefore, when he returned to the Jiang family, he didn't get along well with the two Jiang brothers. Their initial positions were different, and the two brothers saw him as a competitor, so naturally, Jiang Yinyan was also hostile towards them. Old Lu once asked him why he insisted on returning to the Jiang family. Jiang Yinyan said, returning to the Jiang family is to reclaim everything that belongs to me. I need absolute power. Why do you need absolute power? Jiang Yinyan said, standing tall gives you a voice. My life won't be passive, and the people I care about will be safe. So, from the first day Jiang Yinyan returned to the Jiang family, he wasn't aiming for brotherly harmony. However, life doesn't always go as planned. Jiang Yinyan overlooked Jiang Xian. Jiang Xian was definitely a misstep for Jiang Yinyan. Back then, old Master Jiang still had hopes for Jiang Xian, thinking there was no reason why a Jiang family daughter couldn't be as good as a son. He also wanted to cultivate Jiang Xian properly, so she could enter headquarters and take charge. Thus, when Jiang Yinyan was receiving his education, old Master Jiang also sent Jiang Xian to attend classes. Jiang Xian naturally didn't like the business world, so sitting through business courses was like torture, even worse than being on the rack. But soon, she wasn't suffering anymore because she could use Jiang Yinyan for entertainment. At first, Jiang Yinyan ignored her, just as he ignored the two Jiang brothers. But Jiang Xian's enthusiasm was irresistible. She always found excuses to talk to him and always told him about the Jiang family's affairs. In the Jiang family, topics like the young master leaving home for many years were taboo, and no servants dared to discuss them. This was explicitly forbidden by old Master Jiang. However, Jiang Xian didn't care at all. She simply brought up sensitive topics, always asking him, where have you been all these years? What have you experienced? And so on. When Jiang Yinyan didn't respond, she would sigh and say, my poor brother, you've been through so much. It's okay, don't be afraid. You're back in the Jiang family now, you're safe. If these words had been said when Jiang Yinyan was a minor, he might have been touched. But who was Jiang Yinyan? His struggles outside had hardened him, so he didn't appreciate the sisterly affection Jiang Xian showed. So, Jiang Xian let him experience what it meant to have an older sister. When softness didn't work, Jiang Xian went straight for toughness. She would grab his ear out of nowhere. Can't you hear me talking to you? I'm your sister, kid. Remember that. Old Lu knew perfectly well that with Jiang Yinyan's skills, it would be easy to make Jiang Xian cry for her mother, but he didn't. He let Jiang Xian hit him, and occasionally, when she was in a good mood, she would give him a bear hug that could choke the air out of him. How could old Lu not know Jiang Yinyan's quirks? Well, had he ever been so close to anyone? Forget bear hugs. He would be wary of anyone getting close to him. Jiang Yinyan told old Lu, she's a woman. I can't really lay a hand on her. Old Lu once believed this excuse. Gradually, old Lu began to notice something was off. He felt that Jiang Yinyan wasn't just letting Jiang Xian have her way. Jiang Yinyan was afraid of Jiang Xian. This fear wasn't terror or worry. It was purely a kind of bloodline suppression. So, Facing Jiang Xian's years of haughtiness and domineering behavior, Jiang Yinyan would avoid her if he could, and if not, he could only silently endure it. Not entirely silently. He would always resist a few times or retort a few words, just like now. He would always protest, then be instantly crushed. Therefore, it could be said that among the entire Jiang family, the only person who could control Jiang Yinyan was not the elders of the Jiang family, nor his older brothers, but precisely this sister who was only a few years older than him. Jiang Xian was typical of someone who would say, "No one can bully my brother outside. Only I can bully my brother." Perhaps it was related to age. She wasn't as close to the two older brothers of the Jiang family, but only to Jiang Yinyan. Jiang Xian's catchphrase was, "I'm your sister. What are you going to do about it?" Jiang Yinyan had no more words of resistance left. What could he do? What else could he do? Endure it. Jiang Yinyan, usually so emotionally stable and reserved, always displayed a variety of emotions whenever he encountered Jiang Xian. On the road, Jiang Xian took over as the hostess and easily ordered Jiang Yinyan around. "Pour me a glass of water. I'm thirsty. The water's too cold. Have you forgotten my preferences because we haven't seen each other in a while? I don't like to drink things that are too icy." Jiang Yinyan casually said, "You're not 70 or 80 yet. What are you mumbling about?" Jiang Xian asked languidly. Jiang Yinyan sighed inwardly. "Nothing." He changed it to warm water. "You don't always drink cold things. Yes, you men have a lot of vitality, but you'll get old too. You need to know how to take care of your health when necessary," Jiang Xian reminded him. Jiang Yinyan was a little exasperated but still nodded. "Okay, I know." Jiang Xian was joking around, but when she was serious, she was serious. She glanced at Jiang Yinyan. "Did Yunyan go to work for you for the reason you said?" Old Lu held the steering wheel steadily, but upon hearing this, he subconsciously glanced at Jiang Yinyan. Jiang Yinyan said, "Yes." Jiang Xian frowned. "Who are you kidding?" "Seriously," Jiang Yinyan said. "When did you start caring so much about other people's affairs?" Jiang Xian questioned. Jiang Yinyan replied naturally. "After all, Jiang Zhe is my nephew." Seeing her staring at him, he subtly added, "If it were your business, I'd get involved completely." Jiang Xian raised an eyebrow and looked at him, then pouted. "Easy for you to say." She was just being stubborn, but inwardly, she felt quite sweet hearing that. She knew her brother had a cold and tough personality, and for him to say such a thing meant he truly considered her family. Jiang Yinyan smiled faintly. "Really?" Jiang Xian didn't speak again. She was thinking about what happened in the Jiang family today. Jiang Xian was typically sharp-tongued but kind-hearted. Although she didn't participate in business and often traveled, she still cared about family matters. For example, Jiang Zhe's situation, even if she seemed indifferent and didn't express opinions, Jiang Zhe was her nephew, and there was no reason for her not to care. So, the scenes from the Jiang family replayed in her mind, and she always found something off. Jiang Xian suddenly turned most of her body to stare at Jiang Yinyan. "Are you?" Jiang Yinyan looked at her suspiciously. "Are you what?" Jiang Xian hesitated, then after a long while, said nothing and turned back to lean against the back of the chair. In fact, she had almost asked, "Do you have feelings for Yunyan?" But how could such a question be asked casually? Although the situation between the Jiang and Yu families had turned out this way, their relationship had only completely fallen apart today. If Jiang Yinyan had developed feelings for Yunyan, it would certainly not have been a matter of a day or two, which would mean he was coveting his nephew's fiancée-to-be. This description sounded truly terrible. Now, the old lady had recognized Yunyan as her granddaughter. Although it was only mentioned today, she knew her mother would take it very seriously. There would be a press conference and a recognition ceremony. There was no other way. The old lady liked Yunyan too much. If Yunyan couldn't marry into the Jiang family, the old lady would be terribly anxious, so the recognition ceremony would definitely not be skipped. Jiang Xian's thoughts drifted further and further, and the more she thought, the more a chill ran down her spine. But the next moment, she pulled her wild speculations back. No, Jiang Yinyan had a sense of propriety in such matters. More importantly, he wasn't interested in women, and for so many years, no one had been by his side. It didn't seem like he had feelings for Mora, as he wasn't seen dating her or anything. "Sis," Jiang Yinyan suddenly called her. Jiang Xian snapped out her thoughts and turned to look at him. "There's something I need to ask you," Jiang Yinyan said softly. Jiang Xian raised an eyebrow and smiled. "It's rare for you to ask for a favor." "Because only you can do this," Jiang Yinyan said with a smile. Jiang Xian narrowed her eyes at him. "Just say it. Don't sweet-talk me." "Okay." Jiang Yinyan didn't stand on ceremony with Jiang Xian. "You're close to Jiang Zhixing, aren't you?" Jiang Xian hummed. "What's wrong?" "I heard something." Jiang Zhixing pursued Mora during his student days, Jiang Yinyan said lightly. Jiang Xian looked at him with a half-smile. Did you hear about it? Or did you deliberately inquire? Sis, you're always smart. Jiang Yinyan smiled faintly. Jiang Xian scrutinized him for a long time, then sighed. You're not, are you? Let's not talk about arranged marriages. Just looking at Mora's conditions, she's more than qualified for you. You still haven't taken to her. You can't force feelings, right? Jiang Yinyan said. Now you know you can't force feelings? Why didn't you reject it before? Jiang Xian was blunt. Jiang Yinyan, I never thought about arranged marriages before. Now that the two families have misunderstood, we need to resolve this misunderstanding as soon as possible, otherwise it hurts both sides. Jiang Xian was also very intelligent, her brows furrowed. You've thought this through, haven't you? Jiang Zhixing is not Jiang Zhe. He's your contemporary and has achievements to his name. Once he gets the support of the Mora family, aren't you afraid? Jiang Zhixing, a collateral branch of the Jiang family, was their cousin. Jiang Zhixing was also a business genius. Besides Jiang Yintai and Jiang Yinyan, Jiang Zhixing was also a prominent figure in the business world. He worked at headquarters and simultaneously managed two successful companies. Compared to Jiang Yinyan's reservedness and inscrutability, Jiang Zhixing was more of a cultured businessman. He inherited the Jiang family's handsomeness and also had a scholarly air about him. His methods were gentle, lacking Jiang Yinyan's sharpness. Jiang Zhixing had indeed pursued Mora during his student days. He was a few years older than her and met her at a business club. Jiang Zhixing fell in love with Mora at first sight and pursued her for a while, but it didn't work out, and it became a thing of the past. Jiang Zhixing later had girlfriends, about 3 or 4 in total. Interestingly, his ex-girlfriends more or less resembled Mora in some ways, such as their eyes, mouths, or personalities. He didn't care about their background, only their looks. His few relationships were never hindered. Originally, he hadn't even thought about marriage, so the elders didn't interfere. But once marriage became involved, it became a top priority. He reportedly met several eligible young women, but they all ended unsuccessfully. Jiang Xian was also in contact with Jiang Zhixing, so she knew clearly that he still had feelings for Mora. Jiang Yinyan's question earlier was very telling. Was he jealous? Absolutely not. How could Jiang Xian not understand Jiang Yinyan? Letting Jiang Zhixing have an opportunity would also greatly preserve Mora's dignity. But what Jiang Xian didn't understand was why Jiang Yinyan was doing this. Was it just because feelings couldn't be forced? But in a family like theirs, what was accepted was a marriage of convenience, and feelings were secondary. He wouldn't fail to understand this by now, yet he insisted on pushing the entire Mora family away. Wasn't that handing a knife to the other side? Jiang Yinyan said, to emerge victorious, one must rely on their own strategizing, not on women to conquer the world. It's not relying on women. It's just that if there's a favorable wind to borrow, wouldn't it be twice the result with half the effort? Jiang Xian said. Jiang Yinyan smiled slightly. I will summon a favorable wind myself. I don't need to borrow from others. Jiang Xian looked at him for a long time, then asked him, you don't want an arranged marriage, just because you don't want to force feelings? Yes, why else? Jiang Yinyan retorted. Jiang Xian looked at him suspiciously, but his expression was calm, showing no hint of anything. After a long while, Jiang Xian said, you've better not regret it. Jiang Zhixing is handsome and accomplished now, no worse than you. Maybe he really will win the beauty's heart. So you yourself were late to realize you were starting a new job? Xiao Min asked. In her opinion, Yunyan finally severing ties with Jiang Zhe was good news, something worth celebrating. Even if old Mrs. Jiang reluctantly adopted Yu Wan as her granddaughter, for Yunyan, it was only a boon, not a disadvantage. Who knew Yuanzhou would look so grim and resentful? It was only after pressing him that Xiao Min learned the reason. If it were anyone else, Yunyan would have simply used Jiang Yinyan's explanation to avoid further complications. But Yuanzhou and Xiao Min were her closest people, so there was no need to hide anything. Thus, Yunyan told them the truth. Yu Zhuanzhou's expression darkened even further upon hearing this. Xiao Min, however, looked surprised, genuinely unable to understand Jiang Yinyan's true intentions. Yunyan nodded. She was indeed slow to realize. She thought for a moment. Si Tingyuan invited me, hoping I would follow up on the projects between the two companies. Jiang Yinyan found out about it, and my guess is she hesitated. Seeing Xiao Min and Yu Wanzhou both staring at her, she cleared her throat and said frankly, Si Tingyuan invited me because he values my abilities. Although I don't have much experience in the business world, I'm very perceptive when it comes to the rapid changes in the market. Essentially, she suddenly remembered Jiang Yinyan's words, an unpolished gem, needing to be refined to shine. Xiao Min and Yu Wanzhou said nothing. Yunyan felt a little hurt seeing their reaction. No, what you two mean? Do you both think I'm just a fallen heiress who idles around? Xiao Min sighed. No, I never thought that. You graduated from business school, so you already have a strong academic background. What you truly lack is market experience. This whole thing is a bit of surprise to me, and I don't know what to say. Yun Yan understood. It was quite unexpected for her too. Yu Zhuanzhou's foul mood persisted until now. And when he spoke again, he was still annoyed. Rejected. Ignoring our own company to work for someone else's? That makes no sense. If you really want to work, can't Fan Yuan, their company, accommodate you? Yun Yan was silent. Yuan Zhou, seeing her reaction, was puzzled. You don't actually want to go, do you? Why shouldn't I? Yun Yan asked. Yuan Zhou shot back. Why should you? Yun Yan sighed softly. Actually, Jiang Yinyan explained it quite clearly and logically at the time. Zhongshe Group indeed has more advantages, and I'd be able to directly access the project that Huang Jifa wants to participate in. Seeing Yuan Zhou about to speak, she added quickly, you have to understand, Huang Jifa only sees a small slice of the cake. I can join Fan Yuan, but even there, I'd only be touching the tip of the project iceberg. If there's a chance to see the full picture, why wouldn't I seize it? Yuan Zhou frowned deeply. You're going as a special assistant, not to join the project team. Let alone different fields being as separate as mountains. Even departments are like separate mountains now. How will you get the opportunity to broaden your horizons? There's always a way. Once you're in Zhongshe, you're at the table. Being at the same table, opportunities will arise, Yun Yan said softly. You're thinking too naively. In short, I don't agree. Yu Zhuanzhou's attitude was very firm and cold. Yun Yan sighed. Zhou, I've already made up my mind. But I don't agree. Yuan Zhou suddenly raised his voice. Yun Yan looked at him, feeling quite helpless for a moment. Xiao Min, seeing this, quickly stepped in to mediate. Hey, it's just about a job, isn't it? It's not like she's breaking the law. She turned to Yuan Zhou. Control your temper. She's not a child anymore. Doesn't she know what she's doing? Yuan Zhou was even more infuriated upon hearing this. Glaring at Xiao Min, you wouldn't agree with her doing this, would you? Neither agreeing nor disagreeing. Since your sister has already made up her mind, then I'll definitely support her decision, Xiao Min said softly. And I think what your sister said isn't without reason. Joining Zhongshe at this time will indeed give her a lot of valuable experience. Seeing Yu Zhuanzhou's face grow increasingly grim, Xiao Min continued. Yes, the most direct way is to join your own company. With Yun Yan's capabilities, helping you would certainly not be a problem. But you have to admit that Fan Yuan, whether in terms of scale or scope, can't compare to Zhongshe, can it? Yuan Zhou said nothing, his lips pressed tightly together, his face extremely cold. All right, I'm not staying there forever. Ultimately, I still have to look out for our Yu family, Yun Yan said softly, trying to comfort him. Hearing her say that, Yu Zhuanzhou's expression didn't improve in the slightest. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Xiao Min played the peacemaker. Hey, aren't you too hungry? We've been talking for so long. Tonight, whatever you two want to eat, I'll treat, or you two can treat. I've traveled a long way to get here. Yuan Zhou didn't speak. Apparently, his mind wasn't on what to eat. Yun Yan was about to speak when her phone rang. She glanced at it, stood up, and said, I'll take this call. Yuan Zhou stared at her retreating back, his expression even gloomier. Xiao Min discreetly kicked his leg and whispered, What are you doing? Yuan Zhou, the closer you are to someone, the more you should respect their choices. Her choice is wrong. Am I supposed to just watch her make mistakes? Yuan Zhou lowered his voice, his tone filled with displeasure. Xiao Min didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How can you be so sure she'll go wrong? She's an adult, not a child without discernment. Yuan Zhou said nothing more, but his whole demeanor was gloomy. Seeing him like this, Xiao Min felt a sense of dread. On the balcony, Yun Yan answered the call. It was Jiang Yinyan's voice on the other end. Is Yuan Zhou still with you? Startled, Yun Yan nearly gasped. She lowered her voice. How did you know? She subconsciously looked towards the community, but didn't see Jiang Yinyan's car. Jiang Yinyan gave a cold chuckle. He had such a grim expression when he left the Jiang family. He's probably coming to confront you next. Yun Yan thought to herself, I don't know if your eyes are sharp or if you just know Yuan Zhou too well. Tell him to leave quickly, Jiang Yinyan said indifferently. Yun Yan didn't understand. Why? Jiang Yinyan chuckled. Because I don't want to meet him, and you don't either, do you? Yun Yan's heart fluttered. You're coming to my place? No. She certainly didn't want him to, but would saying no make a difference? After thinking for a moment, she said, Zhou and Xiao Min are here, and we were planning to go out to eat. I'll be at the complex in about half an hour. Whether he's left or not, I'll come straight up. Jiang Yinyan interrupted her explanation. Yun Yan froze. The call had already ended on the other end. When she returned to the living room, Yun Yan's mind was no longer on the previous topic. She thought that once Jiang Yinyan arrived, given Yu Zhuanzhou's mood right now, he would definitely explode. A headache. Seeing Yuan Zhou turn to look at her, she felt helpless and anxious at the same time. So she said, Don't try to persuade me anymore. The fact that I can make this decision means I've thought it through. I'm doing this for the Yu family too. Xiaomin noticed a change in Yunyan. Although she wasn't sure exactly what was going on, she could sense that this statement would greatly displease Yuanzhou. So she quickly said, "Can we move past this topic for now? I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day. Hurry up and treat me to a meal." Yunyan knew Xiaomin was trying to help her out of a bind and was just about to use this opportunity to have Yu Wanzhou treat Xiaomin to a meal, but Yu Zhuanzhou's emotions were still caught up in her last sentence. "Everything is for the Yu family, right? Just for the Yu family. Have you ever considered me?" The displeasure on Yu Zhuanzhou's brow intensified. Yunyan was slightly taken aback. After Yu Wanzhou said that, there also seemed to be regret on his brow. After a long silence, he said, "Since you've thought it through, then do as you wish." With that, he stood up. Yunyan also instinctively stood up. Xiaomin quickly said, "Let's go eat. Let's go eat. We can talk while we eat." Yunyan hesitated for a moment. "You two go eat." Yuanzhou turned to look at her, and his brow furrowed again. Xiaomin was surprised. "You're not eating?" What she actually wanted more was for the two of them to reconcile. How long would they remain so awkward with each other? "I'm a little tired and don't have much appetite, so you two go eat," Yunyan said softly. Xiaomin still wanted to persuade, "Or we could go eat something light." Without a word, Yuanzhou turned and left. "Hey," Xiaomin called out to him. But Yuanzhou didn't even turn his head. Yunyan knew he misunderstood, but Jiang Yinyan was a man of his word. What if he really just walked right in? Besides, the discussion about her joining Zhongshi had reached a bottleneck. Talking further would be futile. It was better to let him cool down. She knew Yu Zhuanzhou's opposition to her joining Zhongshi was more out of emotion than reason. He couldn't get out of this emotional state, so the only way was to let things cool down. It worried Xiao Min terribly. Yunyan told her, "Keep an eye on him for me. Don't worry, he won't take his anger out on you. If you say you're hungry, he's sure to soften." Xiao Min was almost exasperated to death. "Oh, you two really are." She stamped her foot and chased after him anyway. Yunyan couldn't help but smile wryly. See? When it comes down to it, people always prioritize romantic interests over friends. Exactly half an hour later, Jiang Yinyan entered the house. Yunyan glanced at the time on the wall, thinking, how true it is. If Yuanzhou had been a little more petty and hadn't dropped the subject, they would have directly clashed with Jiang Yinyan. She stood in the entrance hall, watching Jiang Yinyan change his shoes. It was chilly outside, and his coat carried the cool air mingled with his scent, making him seem even colder and cleaner. Yuanzhou wore these. He lowered his gaze to the men's slippers on the floor. Yunyan was speechless. He never seemed to be a germaphobe before, but after returning to the Jiang family, she didn't know about other changes, but he certainly picked up a lot of bad habits. She took out a pair of spare disposable slippers, light gray and thicker than hotel ones. Jiang Yinyan was satisfied now and readily changed his shoes, entering the house. He naturally took off his coat and hung it up, then went to the restroom to wash his hands. Yunyan followed him, feeling it was necessary to clarify a few things. "When you weren't here, those men's slippers were for Azhou. So what are you being picky about?" Jiang Yinyan didn't make a fuss or get angry. He simply washed his hands very quietly. After he finished washing and drying his hands, he said, "Then from now on, prepare a few more pairs of these spare ones, or prepare a separate pair, just for me." For now on, Yunyan feared hearing that word the most. She sighed. "Are you here for something?" Jiang Yinyan's arrival wasn't really a big deal. Yet, ever since Yunyan left the Jiang family, she had a faint feeling that Jiang Yinyan would definitely come, and it would be because of what had happened at the Jiang family home. Jiang Yinyan leaned back on the sofa, reached out, and pulled her, settling her onto his lap. The man's thighs were firm and strong. Yunyan only realized it when she instinctively wrapped her arms around his neck, wanting to let go. Jiang Yinyan raised a hand to hold hers, asking her with a half-smile, "It's just the two of us. What's there to be shy about?" What Yunyan feared most was this subtle, ambiguous atmosphere. For their relationship, this was precisely the kind of atmosphere that shouldn't exist. "I don't believe you came here for nothing," she said. Jiang Yinyan looked quite relaxed. His arm tightened slightly, pulling her closer into his embrace, and a hint of a smile touched the corners of his eyes and brows. "I came to find you. Could it be for nothing?" The question sounded serious, but the look in his eyes seemed anything but. How could Yunyan not understand what he meant? Lowering her gaze, she cleared her throat. "If you have something to say it quickly. I haven't eaten, and I'm starving." Jiang Yinyan's eyebrow lifted slightly. "If it weren't for you, I would have gone to eat with Azhou and Xiao Min by now," Yunyan said with a hint of resentment. Jiang Yinyan smiled, his lips pressed together, a faint smile. No displeasure was evident. "The Jiang family will hold a meeting. If there are no surprises, it's scheduled for tomorrow afternoon." Yunyan's heart leaped. "About breaking off the engagement? Do you think the old lady is a pushover?" Jiang Yinyan chuckled. "And there's the matter of acknowledging you as family. It's true that the old lady genuinely wants to acknowledge you, but she also intends to shift public opinion. After all, an alliance that was widely discussed and celebrated by outsiders has been ruined. If the old lady doesn't release some good news, who knows how the stock market will react? The board members at headquarters are all getting on in years. They can't handle any setbacks. Jiang Yinyan said this with a half-smile. One couldn't call it sarcastic, but it was clear he wasn't truly subservient. Yunyan murmured, "Oh, what do you think?" Jiang Yinyan asked her abruptly. Yunyan didn't understand what he was asking. Jiang Yinyan raised a hand to lightly pinch her chin, his smile unpredictable. "Do you really want to call me uncle in the future?" Yunyan understood instantly. After thinking for a moment, she said, "It's the old lady's wish. I can't really reject her kindness. The engagement is already canceled, and you saw what happened to the Jiang family today. How can I refuse?" Jiang Yinyan smiled, pulling her closer, his voice slightly lowered. "It's also a good thing for the old lady to acknowledge you. At least it can put an end to Jiang Zhe's thoughts of you." Yunyan mumbled inwardly upon hearing this. "So you knew about this, too?" Jiang Yinyan saw the thoughts in her eyes and chuckled. But he paused, then leaned closer to her. "Never mind if it's not the case. Even if you really call me uncle, if I want you, no one can stop me." Yunyan's heart fluttered. She pushed him away with her hand and stood up. Jiang Yinyan didn't force her, letting her get up. Yunyan didn't know what he meant, nor did she want to ask if he was planning to stay over again. Whenever he was around, she felt an inexplicable pressure. Pretending not to notice, she entered the kitchen. Soon after, Jiang Yinyan also came in. Yunyan thought for a moment and asked, "So can the Jiang family accept GZ into the family?" It was Mora who was advising GZ. Although Jiang Yinyan's family isn't sure who is exactly behind it, they aren't fools. They probably suspect that GZ's advisors are not simple. Otherwise, how could Tang Hui meet GZ one moment, and paparazzi catch them red-handed the next? And the angle of public opinion manipulation was very thorough. So, at least handling this privately is no longer an option. They will most likely allow GZ into the family. Yunyan shook her head. What good is it to get in? Using tactics to get in? Won't she be the one to suffer in the end? After the child is born, if the Jiang family dotes on them, it's fine. But if Tang Hui turns her back, then the child will be pitiable. Jiang Yinyan glanced at her, letting out a scoffing laugh. Yinyan was puzzled by his laugh. Am I wrong? GZ doesn't want to enter the Jiang family for love. If her feelings were truly that deep, she probably wouldn't enter, Jiang Yinyan said incisively. Yinyan stood there, thinking for a moment. That's right. You grew up in the world of fame and fortune. Can't you see through this sort of thing? Interactions between people are nothing more than interests, either material or emotional. The former is easiest to obtain. The latter is hard to find even if you wear out your iron shoes searching. People are born pragmatic, so they will only strive for what is easiest to pursue, Jiang Yinyan said indifferently. Yunyan was silent, not agreeing with him. Jiang Yinyan saw the subtle hint. You don't agree. Perhaps it's precisely because I grew up in the big dive vat of fame and fortune that I want to pursue emotional interests even more, Yunyan said casually. Priceless treasures are easy to find. A true lover is hard to come by. Love has been celebrated since ancient times, not because it's easy to obtain. On the contrary, finding a sincere partner is very difficult. It is precisely because it's difficult that it's worth praising and worth pursuing wholeheartedly. Jiang Yinyan narrowed his eyes slightly and turned to look at her. Who do you want to pursue emotional interests with? Yinyan clearly felt his tone turn cold. For a moment, she felt a surge of anger. She said, Did I bring up this topic? Weren't you the one talking? Jiang Yinyan paused slightly. Perhaps he hadn't expected her to retort. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. Just then a call came in. It was Jiang Yinyan's. Yinyan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't go out to answer the phone, but picked it up directly in the kitchen. In the quiet environment, Yunyan heard clearly. It was old Lu, asking what time would be suitable to pick him up. Yunyan's mind became active. From this, it seemed he had a social engagement tonight. That meant he wouldn't be staying over, right? Her heart felt quite joyful. Jiang Yinyan glanced at the time, thought for a moment, and asked old Lu to pick him up in an hour.